Silence filled the endless dark. Stars watched without making sound. Something huge moved between them. Cold shadows covered distant light. A fleet slowly entered orbit. Massive ships blocked the sunlight. Earth stood small beneath them. People looked up in fear. Phones dropped from shaking hands. Cars stopped across empty roads. Sirens echoed through the cities. Nobody understood what happened. Nobody felt ready for this. Above them, aliens observed quietly. Inside ships, lights glowed softly. Strange beings studied human behavior. Screens showed cities and oceans. Data streams flowed without stopping. One commander stepped forward slowly. "This is the Deathworld species." Another one tilted its head. They survived impossible conditions here. Gravity, storms, endless internal conflicts. The room stayed quiet briefly. Then soft laughter slowly started. Primitive tools and simple machines. They built from broken materials. They fight using loud explosions. They are not highly advanced. They are barely organized creatures. Laughter filled the silent chamber. They felt superior and confident. Earth meant nothing to them. Just another weak civilization found. Just another system to control. Far below, in ruined district, a man worked among scrap piles. His name was Arman Malik. Grease covered his rough hands. Dust rested on his shoulders. Broken machines surrounded his space. Old wires hung like dead vines. Metal parts scattered everywhere nearby. Nothing looked useful at first. Everything seemed like worthless junk. But Arman saw something different. He saw patterns inside chaos. He saw tools inside trash. He picked a broken device, turned it slowly with focus. His eyes studied every detail. His mind stayed calm and sharp. A small smile touched his face. Not happiness, something else entirely. Something quiet and deeply focused. Suddenly the sky started changing. A low vibration filled air. Windows shook across every street. Birds flew away in panic. Clouds twisted in strange motion. Light slowly disappeared from ground. People stopped and stared upward. Something massive blocked the sun. The alien fleet revealed itself. Dark shapes covered entire sky. Fear spread faster than wildfire. Children cried and held parents. Voices shouted without clear direction. Confusion ruled every single moment. But Arman did not panic. He stood completely still there. His eyes locked on sky, thinking deeper than anyone else, calculating without visible movement. A beam suddenly shot downward. Bright light moved with precision. It reached the ground instantly. Before anyone could react fast, Arman disappeared inside that light. No sound, no warning given, just gone within seconds completely. People screamed seeing that moment, but it was already over. Inside alien ship, cold silence. Arman fell onto metal floor. Hard impact shook his body. He slowly stood back up.
Gravity felt slightly different there. Air felt cold and unfamiliar. Lights glowed with strange color. Tall figures surrounded him quietly. Alien guards watched without emotion. Their armor looked smooth and strong. Their eyes glowed faint blue. They studied him like object, not like equal living being. One alien stepped closer slowly. "You are a human from Earth." Armin stayed silent, observing everything. Another alien moved beside the leader. "This species builds from garbage." Soft laughter followed that statement. "They depend on broken materials. They lack refined advanced systems. They are inefficient and basic." The group seemed amused together. They felt no threat at all. The leader leaned slightly forward. "Tell us, small human creature, what power do you possess? What can you truly achieve? What can you build without resources?" The room grew silent again, all eyes fixed on Armin, waiting for a simple, weak response, expecting fear or confusion clearly. Armin finally raised his head. His face showed no fear. His breathing stayed calm and steady. His eyes scanned the entire chamber. He noticed small scattered objects, tiny discarded parts near walls, loose panels not fully secured, unused wires hanging carelessly down. Things others failed to notice here. Things considered completely useless here. Then Armin finally spoke softly. "I never needed much anyway." His voice stayed calm and low. No anger, no visible stress, just quiet confidence inside him. Aliens paused, slightly confused now. They exchanged quick, uncertain glances. Something about him felt unusual, not like expected human reaction, not weak, not completely afraid. Armin slowly looked around again. His mind started building connections. Each object became possible tool. Each weakness became hidden opportunity. Each mistake became future advantage. A guard pushed him forward roughly. "Move, human. You are captured." Armin walked without resistance shown, but his eyes never stopped working. He memorized every detail carefully, every door, every light, everything. They placed him inside a chamber, a holding cell made of metal, door sealed with silent mechanism, no visible locks or handles. Guards stood outside watching closely. Armin sat quietly on the floor. He looked like a normal prisoner, still, calm, and almost relaxed. He touched the ground slowly, feeling vibrations through the structure beneath, listening without making any noise. A tiny broken piece nearby, almost invisible beside the wall. He noticed it instantly there. Slowly, carefully, he reached forward. His fingers closed around object, a small damaged circuit piece, worthless for advanced alien technology, but not for someone like him. Armin held it in his hand, examining it under dim light. His eyes focused deeply again. His mind started working faster, connections forming silently inside head. Outside, aliens continued discussing humans. "They cannot threaten our systems. They lack knowledge and precision. This capture proves our superiority." Confidence filled every word. Inside the cell, something changed. Armin's small smile returned again, that same dangerous, quiet smile, the kind that hides plans, the kind that signals danger. He looked at the circuit, then at the wall panels, then at the ceiling lights. Everything slowly made perfect sense. Everything started connecting together. He whispered very softly now, "This is more than enough." Outside, nothing seemed wrong yet. Inside, everything just started changing. A simple man with nothing, surrounded by powerful alien technology. Still, something felt unbalanced here. Not in aliens' favor anymore, because they saw only trash, but he saw hidden possibilities. They saw weakness in materials, but he saw strength in simplicity. They saw a captured human, but they missed something important. A Deathworld human thinking quietly, planning without showing anything outside, waiting for the perfect right moment, building power from
Cold light filled narrow chamber. Metal walls stood tall around. No windows showed outside space. Silence pressed from every side. Armin sat calmly on floor. His hands held small circuit. Eyes focused, mind stayed active. He studied every tiny detail. Nothing here was truly useless. Everything had hidden potential inside. Outside, guards watched him closely. Their eyes showed little interest. To them, he was harmless, just another weak, captured being. No threat to advanced systems, no danger to powerful fleet. Inside, Armin kept thinking quietly. He mapped structure in memory. He counted steps of guards. He listened to every movement. Patterns slowly became very clear. A soft sound came nearby. Loose panel slightly moved sideways. Air passed through tiny opening, almost impossible to even notice, but Armin noticed it quickly. He moved closer, very slowly, careful not to alert guards. His fingers touched metal edge. Loose connection felt slightly unstable. A small chance appeared there. He returned back to Borna, acting normal, nothing unusual shown. He sat and looked downward, hiding thoughts behind calm face, waiting for better right moment. Time passed without clear measure. No clocks inside alien ship, no sunlight, no changing shadows, only constant artificial glowing light. Still, Armin stayed patient always. A guard walked past slowly. Heavy steps echoed through hallway. Then silence returned once more. Routine felt predictable and repeated. This gave Armin a quiet advantage. He picked another tiny piece, a broken wire near floor. Thin, weak, ignored by others, but useful for creative mind. He hid it inside his sleeve. Step by step he collected, small parts nobody cared about, tiny scraps left behind everywhere, each one stored with purpose, each one part of bigger plan. Outside, aliens shared confident thoughts. Human shows no useful behavior. He will remain under control. No risk detected from subject. Their systems confirmed the same result. Inside, Armin slowly built something.
Hands moved with quiet precision. Fingers connected wire to circuit. Small sparks flickered very briefly. He stopped, then adjusted carefully. He listened for any reaction. No alarms, no changes outside. Everything stayed perfectly normal still. That meant progress was working. That meant plan stayed hidden. Armin continued working in silence, each move slow and controlled, each step planned inside mind. No rush, no careless mistake, only steady, focused creation happening. A tiny shape formed slowly, not big, not impressive looking, just a small, simple device, made from nothing but scrap, but it carried real purpose. He held it very carefully, studied it one final time, checked every weak connection point, adjusted one small broken edge, then nodded very slightly once. Outside, one guard stopped suddenly. He looked toward chamber door. Something felt slightly different now, but nothing showed on scanners. Everything looked completely normal there. The guard moved on again. Doubt faded without clear reason. Routine returned to control. Confidence remained strong and steady. Inside, Armin prepared silently now. He placed device near wall, close to loose metal panel, close to hidden weak connection. Everything aligned with his plan. He stepped back slowly then, watching device without blinking eyes, breathing calm, steady and controlled, waiting for the right perfect moment, listening to ship's quiet rhythm. A faint vibration passed through walls. Energy systems pulsed deep inside. Power flow moved across circuits. Armin recognized the timing instantly. This was exactly what needed. He pressed device very gently. A soft click answered back. No loud noise, nothing obvious, just a tiny hidden reaction, almost impossible to detect there. For 1 second, nothing changed. For 2 seconds, still silence. Then something shifted very slightly. Lights flickered just once quickly. Barely noticeable small disturbance happened. Armin watched with focused eyes. That small flicker meant success. Connection reached deeper system layer, exactly where he wanted access, exactly where weakness existed before. Outside, one panel blinked briefly. A guard looked at screen. Minor fluctuation detected, he said. Probably nothing important, another replied. They ignored it without concern. Inside, Armin's device powered down. Its job was now completed. It opened small hidden pathway, a door inside system itself. Invisible but very real opening. Armin picked device back up now. It looked completely dead again, just useless scrap outside. But inside, change already started. Something deeper began moving slowly. He returned to his corner, sat down like before calmly. Hands empty, face relaxed again. Nothing about him looked dangerous. Nothing about him raised alarm. But behind that quiet stillness, a system far away reacted suddenly. Tiny error spread through circuits, like a whisper inside machine, growing slowly without being seen. Armin closed his eyes again, listening to distant silent signals, feeling ship's hidden weak pulse. understanding what came next now. He whispered under his breath, "The first step is always small." Outside, everything still looked perfect. Fleet remained strong and organized. Aliens stayed confident in control. Nothing seemed truly out of place. Nothing seemed ready to fail. But deep inside that structure, something new quietly existed now. A human-made hidden change, born from simple, useless trash, growing stronger with every second. Armin opened eyes slowly again. That same dangerous calm returned, the kind aliens never understood, the kind born on harsh worlds, the kind built through survival. He looked toward the door, then toward glowing ceiling lights, then back at his hands, everything moving exactly as planned, everything leading toward next step. And this time, it would not stay small.
The ship stayed calm outside. Nothing seemed broken or wrong. Lights glowed in steady rhythm. Systems worked without any issue. Aliens trusted their perfect control. Deep inside hidden circuits, though, a small change slowly expanded, like quiet waves in water, spreading without drawing attention, growing stronger every passing second. Armin sat still in silence, eyes half closed, fully aware. He felt the system shifting, tiny signals moving around structure, everything going just as planned. A soft flicker crossed lights, so quick, almost invisible there. One guard looked up briefly, then returned to normal stance. Nothing seemed serious to them. Inside control room far away, a screen showed strange reading. "Minor error detected," voice reported. "Check source and confirm status." Operators followed standard procedure calmly. They ran quick system diagnostics. Numbers appeared across large displays. Everything showed stable conditions still. No major fault found anywhere. They relaxed and continued work. But something did not stop. That small hidden change continued, moving deeper into core systems, finding paths through weak connections, reaching places never meant accessed. Armin slowly opened his eyes. He knew first phase completed. Now next step would begin. He stood up very quietly. No sudden move, no noise. A guard noticed his movement. "Remain seated," the guard ordered. Armin stopped and nodded slightly, then slowly sat back down, still calm, still controlled fully. Inside main system core area, energy flow started fluctuating slightly. Not dangerous, just unusual pattern. Machines adjusted to correct imbalance, but correction created new issue. A second flicker hit lights, this time slightly longer duration. Guards exchanged quick, uncertain looks. Still no alarm triggered yet. Confidence remained mostly unbroken there. Control room detected change again. "Why repeating fluctuation appears?" One operator sounded confused now. "System should stabilize quickly," replied another. Yet readings kept shifting slowly. Armin watched the ceiling lights carefully. Each flicker told him progress. Each pulse confirmed deeper access. His plan unfolded step by step. No rush, only perfect timing. He reached into his sleeve, pulled out a small broken wire. Looked simple, almost completely useless, but now it had purpose. Final piece of this stage.
He waited for next pulse. Timing mattered more than anything. Too early would fail instantly. Too late would lose advantage. Perfect moment approached very fast. Then it happened again suddenly. Lights flickered across whole chamber, stronger this time, clearly visible. Guards stepped forward in concern. Something was definitely wrong now. At the same exact moment, Armin moved his hand quickly. He connected the wire to panel. Touch lasted only 1 second, then he pulled it away. Nothing happened right away, though. Just silence filled the chamber. Guards looked confused and alert, weapons ready but not used. They saw no clear threat. Inside system core suddenly, energy surged in the wrong direction. A loop formed within circuits. Power fed back into itself. Control systems lost balance briefly. Control room alarms blinked once. Unexpected feedback detected now. Operators rushed to stabilize systems. Commands entered at rapid speed, but response came too slowly. Back in the holding chamber area, lights went completely dark suddenly. Total darkness filled the space. Only silence remained for a moment. Then emergency lights turned on. Red glow replaced normal lighting. Guards stepped back in confusion. They checked their status displays. Data streams showed unstable readings. Something serious was happening now. Armin stood up slowly again. This time, no one stopped him. Guards were too distracted already, focused on system failure reports, focused on restoring their control. A loud hum echoed distantly. Not explosion, just energy shifting, like a giant machine losing balance, like structure adjusting under stress. Control room voices grew urgent. Subsystem 7 is offline. Why cannot we restore it? Commands are not responding properly. Voices overlapped in rising panic. Commander shouted new orders loudly. Isolate affected system immediately. But isolation command failed instantly. System refused to follow instruction. Control slipping out of hands. Back in the chamber quietly, Armin watched everything unfold calmly. His eyes showed quiet satisfaction, not pride, just understanding result. First strike was successful. He looked at the small panel again, now slightly open from before. Gap large enough for access, enough for next phase soon. Everything aligned perfectly now. A guard finally noticed him. "You, stop moving right now." But the voice lacked full confidence, because situation felt uncontrolled already, because fear started growing inside. Armin turned his head slowly, looked directly at that guard. His expression remained completely calm, almost like he expected everything, almost like he planned everything. He spoke only a few words, just a small beginning step. The guard hesitated hearing those words. Something about the tone felt wrong. Not fear, not anger either, just quiet certainty inside the voice. Inside system network deeper still. Failure spread to second subsystem, then third one lost connection. Chain reactions slowly starting forming, each problem causing another one. Control room now fully alarmed. Multiple warnings flashed across screens. Stability dropping across all sectors. We are losing system coordination. Voices overlapped in rising panic. Commander shouted new orders loudly. Isolate affected system immediately. But isolation command failed instantly. System refused to follow instruction. Control slipping out of hands. Back in the chamber quietly,
Armin stepped toward the door. Sensors blinked but malfunctioned slightly. Door lock flickered without response. Barrier between inside and outside weakened. He placed hand on the surface, felt vibration growing much stronger. Ship itself reacting to imbalance. Everything moving toward next phase. Armin closed his eyes briefly, taking one calm, deep breath, then opened them with focus, ready for what comes next. Behind him, systems kept failing. Ahead of him, path opening slowly. Around him, confusion growing fast. And above all, aliens no longer felt safe.
The ship no longer felt stable. Soft vibrations turned into shaking. Lights flickered without steady pattern. Systems responded slower than before. Controls slipped from alien hands. Inside command room, alarms continued. Red warnings covered every display screen. Operators tried fixing failing systems quickly, but every fix created new problems. Nothing worked like before anymore. "Status report now," Commander demanded loudly. "Multiple systems failing at once, sir. Navigation, energy, and internal links unstable. Cause still unknown and spreading fast." Tension filled entire control chamber. Outside in long metal corridors, doors opened and closed randomly. Lights switched between dim and bright. Guards moved with growing confusion everywhere. Nothing followed normal, predictable pattern anymore. Back near holding chamber, quietly, Armand stood beside broken door. The lock flickered weakly again. Sensors failed to detect properly. Barrier was almost completely useless now. He pushed the door with gentle force. It opened with soft grinding sound. No alarm triggered at that moment. System too unstable to react. Path ahead became finally clear. Armand stepped into the hallway. First time outside his small cell. He looked around very carefully, observing movement and broken systems. Everything matched his expected outcome. A guard rushed past quickly, not even noticing Armand standing, focused only on system warnings ahead. Panic slowly replaced their discipline. Confidence faded from their actions. Armand walked forward at steady pace. No rush, no fear in movement. His mind tracked every small detail. Every flicker gave useful information. Every failure showed new opportunity. From the ceiling, sparks fell briefly. Not dangerous, just system overload signs. Energy lines struggled to stay balanced. Machines worked beyond safe limits. Everything pushed toward total breakdown. Inside command room, chaos grew stronger. "We are losing communication channels. Fleet coordination is breaking apart. Ships cannot sync with each other." Voices filled the room with rising panic. Commander tried staying calm still. "Activate backup control protocols now." Operators entered commands very fast, but systems refused to respond correctly. Backup failed, just like primary system. Back in corridor, far away, Armand reached a junction point. Multiple paths opened before him. He paused and listened quietly, felt vibration, direction through the structure. He chose path to the left side, not random, but carefully decided. That direction led toward energy core, the heart of entire ship, where the biggest weakness now existed. As he moved deeper inside, failures became much more visible. Doors stuck halfway between positions. Panels opened without clear reason. Systems tried correcting endless errors.
Armand collected more small parts, broken pieces scattered along the pathway, each one added to his plan, each one useful in next step, nothing wasted, nothing ignored ever. Behind him, guards started searching. Find the human immediately. He escaped from the holding chamber. Their voices carried through corridors. Urgency replaced earlier careless attitude. But searching became very difficult. Ship layout kept changing unexpectedly. Doors closed between different sections. Paths blocked without warning suddenly. System confusion slowed their movement. Armand kept moving forward calmly, never running, never showing panic. His advantage grew every second, because he understood the chaos, because he created the chaos. He reached a larger chamber area. Energy lines ran across the walls. Power flowed in bright glowing streams. The main distribution hub was here, critical point for entire ship. Armand stopped near control panel. Panel flickered like others around. He opened it with gentle force. Inside, complex wires connected together. Advanced system, but now unstable. He took out collected pieces, scrap from cell and corridor, slowly started building a new device. Hands moved with quiet precision, focus stronger than ever before. Far away, Commander received an update. Human located near energy sector. All units move to intercept now. Guards changed direction immediately fast. They rushed toward Armand's location. Back in Energy Hub, quietly, Armand continued his careful work. He connected wires one by one, adjusted circuits using simple tools, everything built from discarded trash. A loud hum filled the chamber. Energy flow became unstable again. Lights flashed brighter than before. Systems struggled to handle overload. Perfect condition for next action. Armand placed the device into the panel, secured it between weak connections, then stepped back slowly again, watching result with focused eyes, waiting for chain reaction start. Guards reached chamber entrance quickly. They saw Armand standing there. "You must stop right now!" Their voices filled the large space, but they hesitated moving forward, because environment felt unsafe already. Energy lines sparked without warning. The floor vibrated under heavy pressure. Nothing felt fully under control. Fear slowed their every action. Armand turned toward them calmly. His face showed no anger, only quiet understanding of the situation, only certainty about coming result. He spoke in a steady voice. "You lost control already now." Guards did not answer immediately, because deep down they knew the truth, because nothing worked like before, because fear had already started. Inside system core, suddenly, energy surged beyond safe levels. Device triggered hidden chain reaction. Systems fed power into wrong paths. Balance completely broke at once. Lights across the ship went unstable. Corridors flashed in rapid sequence. Command room filled with warnings. Critical overload approaching fast, unable to stop the reaction process. Commander shouted his final desperate order. "Shut down the entire system immediately!" But shutdown command never executed. System refused every control input. Everything moved beyond their reach. Back in energy chamber loudly, power lines pulsed with bright light. Sound grew deeper and stronger, like a giant engine losing stability, like structure reaching breaking point. Armand stepped away slowly then. His part in this was done. He turned toward the exit path.
No need to stay longer there. Chaos would continue on its own. Behind him, system kept collapsing. Failures spread across the entire ship. Fleet coordination almost completely lost. Aliens struggled without clear control. Everything moved toward final stage. And in that growing chaos, one human walked out calmly, leaving behind broken, perfect system, leaving behind shocked, powerful aliens, leaving behind a message they ignored, that even simple trash can destroy something very powerful.
The ship shook without stopping. Energy waves moved through structure. Systems failed across every section. Nothing remained fully under control. The fleet started breaking apart. Inside command room, panic spread. Screens flashed critical warning signals. Operators tried last desperate solutions, but nothing responded to commands. Everything slipped beyond recovery now. Commander stood frozen in place, confidence gone from his posture. What have we done wrong? No one answered his question. Silence filled the broken chamber. Outside in open space, fleet formation started falling apart. Ships lost their perfect alignment. Communication between them fully collapsed. Coordination disappeared into confusion. Back inside main corridor quietly, Armin walked with steady steps. No hurry, no fear remained. His path was now clear. Exit route opened before him. Lights guided him forward slowly. Emergency systems still partially working. Enough to show safe direction. Enough to reach escape section. Everything moved toward final stage. Behind him, chaos continued growing. Energy surges crossed multiple systems. Sections shut down one by one. Fleet power reduced every moment. Aliens struggled to understand failure. One guard saw Armin ahead. He stopped, but did nothing. Fear replaced his earlier confidence. He stepped aside without speaking. Path cleared without resistance now. Armin passed him calmly forward. No anger, no need to fight. Situation already decided itself. Chaos had done everything needed. Plan worked exactly as expected. He reached escape bay entrance. Large door stood slightly open. Inside, small transport units waited, used for short-distance travel. Simple but fully functional vehicles. Armin entered one quietly inside. Systems flickered, but still active. System responded with slight delay, enough to operate safely, though. He started sequence step by step. Outside, fleet condition worsened rapidly. One ship drifted off course slowly. Another lost all visible power. Formation completely collapsed into disorder. Nothing looked powerful anymore now. Inside command room, loudly, final alarm sounded across systems. Critical failure cannot be stopped. Core stability dropping to 0. Immediate evacuation recommended now. Commander looked at main screen. Fleet image showed total breakdown. Perfect system, now completely broken. All because of one human. All because of simple trash. He whispered with disbelief slowly. How could this even happen? Back in escape unit quietly, Armin completed final system check. Engines responded with soft hum. Navigation aligned toward open space. Everything ready for departure now. He looked at main display. Fleet chaos visible from distance, ships moving without clear direction, lights fading across dark background, a once powerful force now broken. Armand pressed final control button. Escape unit moved forward smoothly, leaving behind damaged alien ship, entering open, silent space again. Freedom finally within his reach. As he moved further away, a communication channel opened suddenly. Alien commander sent final message. Voice carried confusion and shock. "Human, explain what you did." Armand listened without any emotion. He watched the fleet fading slowly. Then he answered very calmly, his voice steady and clear. "I used what you ignored." Silence followed his simple words. Commander had nothing left to say. The truth was clear in that moment. They failed to see value. They failed to understand humans. Armand continued speaking softly now. "You saw only useless broken pieces. I saw tools and opportunities. You trusted perfect, strong systems. I trusted simple, flexible ideas." His words carried deeper meaning, not anger, not pride alone, just truth from harsh survival, just lesson from Deathworld life. Never underestimate human thinking. Communication channel closed quietly then. No response came back again. Aliens left with their failure. Humans left with their message. Armand guided ship toward Earth. Blue planet appeared in distance, small but strong in its way, full of life and struggle, full of endless human spirit. Behind him, alien fleet faded, broken system drifting into silence, lesson written across empty space. Power is not always advanced. Sometimes power is simple thinking. Armand looked at Earth again. A small smile crossed his face. Not victory, something more quiet. Understanding of human strength inside. Because on a harsh death world, humans learn to survive anything. Even with nothing in hands. Even with only simple trash. And sometimes that is more than enough.